to have some fun.
From Hollywood, welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
All right, you malakas, let's get this show on the road. I gotta tell you, man, I had so much ham yesterday. Don't be shocked if I squeal like a pig later.
Oh, gives a rat's ass.
Yeah, my pants are still unbuttoned. From the Mojo Dojo overlooking Malibu Lake, who is up for another wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, action-packed adventure.
Let's do it.
Here's what's on tap on the Wrap. I'm going to expose the military's dirty little secret. Who remembers what life was like before Obama? Well, let me refresh your memory. There's a growing concern about the disruptive Muslim call to prayer in America, but naturally I have a solution. Gavin Newsom has a new bright idea I'll tell you about. And praise be to Whitey. I'm going to make it cool to be white again. Another round of head trauma's on the way. Who's up for a round of star quotes today? Plus, our usual lunacy and loose behavior, including TDK with a juicy rocktail. And I saw it on the X. That's what's happening today on the Rat's Ass Podcast for Monday, April 6th. So did you have a good Easter? Did you get together with family, have all kinds of festive activities? Did you eat lots of chocolate? Oh, the white chocolate, dark chocolate, it doesn't matter. It's all good. But let me ask you a serious question, though. When you bit into that chocolate bunny, did you eat the ass first? Yeah, we went to my sister-in-law's, and she whipped up a feed that would have scared the bejesus out of a Muslim. We had ham and eggs, ham and mashed potatoes and gravy, ham on a fruit salad, ham on King's Hawaiian rolls. I even put a couple of slices in my shoes in case I ran into a Muslim and say, hey, smell my feet. Then we gave the leftovers to the dogs, so it was a good family feed. It was nice to see the family, too. Thank you, Allie, for hosting, and we'll see you again at Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're your typical American white family, man. We get together on Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas and ignore each other the rest of the year. You know, I don't know how the Mexican families here in Southern California do this. Every weekend, it's a party. Every weekend, they'll jam 2,000 people into a 500-square-foot apartment and go at it for 2 days straight. I've seen it for myself. I mean, I go to my gardener's place every Cinco de Mayo to be their piñata. And I know it's time to get the hell out of there when I hear Jose say, hey, hit him with the baseball bat. Before we get rolling here, I have to thank everybody who tuned in during the month of March. We had the biggest audience show up yet, plus we added a little over 1,000 followers on Facebook, and we're almost at 4,000 on TikTok. So thank you so much for helping the Rat's Ass Podcast continue to grow all over the globe. 70% of the audience is here in the USA, 30% around the world. So the lunacy and loose behavior is starting to spread. All right, let's get into the wrap today. The Democrats are making a big deal over the 13 casualties we've suffered during the Iran conflict. Now, while every life lost is a tragedy, each life is precious. Sometimes a little perspective, though, goes a long way. Did you know the military does have a dirty little secret nobody talks about? You won't hear about this in the media. No government rep is ever going to openly discuss it. But did you know every year 60 to 120 military service members die during training activities, most on U.S. soil in non-combat situations? My brother Sam died during maneuvers in South Carolina when I was 2 years old, so no death is acceptable. I know this. I know what it was like growing up in a family who lost a beloved brother. But I am not about to let the Democrats use what lives have been lost as political propaganda. It's disrespectful to the dead and their families. But the despicable Democrats have no shame. If they think they can score political points, they're going to use it. But it's not right. Now, it occurred to me over the weekend as I was doing my plotting for the Rat's Ass Podcast, it occurred to me that we have a lot of people in the United States under 30 years old who have no idea what America was like before Barack Obama became president in 2008. Think about that. We're talking about people born, say, 1996 or after. None of this existed. They don't know life without these things. There was no Black Lives Matter before Obama. There was no Antifa or ISIS before Obama. There was no war on police or defund the police before Obama. There was no law legalizing propaganda on American citizens. Obama did away with that. There was no Russia hoax. There was no expensive Obamacare, and this is a big one. This is a big one. A lot of us will remember that our employers used to pay 100% of our health care premiums. Those people under 30 right now are going, what? Say what? They did what? Yeah, they paid for our health insurance as part of the perks of being a valued employee. You don't get that anymore because companies found out, hey, we're going to go bankrupt if we continue to do this. That's what Obama did for us. Stood up on the podium and said, we're going to save you 25% on your premiums and you can keep your doctor. All bullshit. Yeah, within a few years, employers said, Every man for himself. Yeah. There was no Trump derangement syndrome. Cost of living was approximately 55% less before Obama became president. So keep that in mind, because I bring this up to remind you what a ginormous divisive chunk of monkey dung he was and continues to be. And I'm sure as we get closer to the midterms, we'll have a stank ass out there dividing and disrupting the process again. No other ex-president does this. They might say a couple of things in an interview, but he openly goes out as an activist ex-president. You know, when he was elected, he was a community organizer before he became a senator. People heard community organizer. Well, that's so nice. He was a community organizer. They had no damn idea that he was an activist. This is what we're seeing today. Habits die hard, right? Now, as you know, I get most of my news from X, from multiple sources. And there appears to be a growing concern about the Muslim call to prayer in U.S. cities where they have a heavy population of Muslims. There is a lot of footage out there now of them closing down streets 5 times a day. And U.S. citizens are starting to notice and aren't happy about it. Now, here's the other bad part. A lot of people who only pay attention to the left-wing media have no idea this is going on. They don't know what's going on in New York City. They don't know what's going on in Texas. They have no idea what's happening in Dearborn, Michigan. Oh, I brought him up to speed real quick over the weekend. But have no fear, Mojo is here with a suggestion to stop the insanity. You know, they're doing it to stop traffic, to show their dominance over you. Okay, they're not doing it. They're not doing it for any other reason. Okay? We respect prayer as American citizens. That's why we don't do anything about it. But you got to stop it. Understand they're doing this to display dominance over you. So don't lay down and let them get away with it. Okay? When they block streets and you're stopped in traffic, just lay on the horns. 18-wheelers, trucks, cars, just lay on the frickin' horns. I mean, don't beep, beep, beep. It's boom. You just lay on them. 50, 60 cars together, that's going to disrupt that little prayer they got going on. I mean, it's God-given right as an American to protest, right? And just call it a peaceful demonstration. Hey, I just beat my horn once. I can't help it that everybody else joined in. Yeah, just disrupt it. Just an idea. Think about it. Kick it around a little bit. All right, California slumlord Governor Gavin 960 Newsom is He's spreading cash out. He's spending $19 million of our taxpayer dollars to pay for a New York PR firm. All to create an ad campaign designed to make California look more attractive to you tourists out there. In other words, Newsom wants to bait you into coming to California so the illegals can have their way with you. Now, first of all, if he has to hire a PR firm, you know he's trying to polish a turd, right? You know he's trying to weasel you into coming to California. Yeah, come on over. It's the friendly state of California. Sunny, white, sandy beaches. Yeah, they just happen to clean those up for the photo shoot or for the video shoot. Okay, now if people were sure California was safe, which it's not, they'd come for the fun and sun like they used to. You wouldn't need a frickin' PR firm. He's just a snake oil salesman. Just a snake oil salesman. All right, well, I got to tell you, I've had it up to my derriere with the non-whites in this country saying white people didn't do shit. Yeah. Well, it's time I remind you, ingrates, what shit white people have done. On a new feature I'm calling
Praise be to Whitey.
Every episode, I'm going to give you 3 things that white people created until I run out of stuff Whitey's done. And trust me when I say this is going to take months, maybe even years. Could cost millions of lives. So please do me the honors of calling me a racist right now. Okay, for an example, off the bat, I'm going to go a little deep today. If it wasn't for Whitey, there would be no NFL, no NBA, no MLB, or NHL. Do you know what else Whitey invented? How about that computer you're typing on? Yeah, he sure as shit did. Guess what else Whitey came up with? Would you believe he invented nearly all the software that drives your computer? All the early stuff especially. And what did you do besides sit on your ass and use it? And although Al Gore is a white guy, he did not invent the internet. Contrary to popular belief, he just lied like a Democrat. But you know who did? Whitey did. Yeah. So let me ask you a serious question again. Do you know where you'd be right now if it wasn't for Whitey?
Living in a van down by the river.
And don't you forget it. All right, let's check in with TDK. He has a tasty rock tale for you.
When a guitarist's sister told him that his band's song was good, he knew that this song was a hit because she hated everything. Back in the late 80s, a young metal band was writing songs for their debut album. And because they were considered part of the late 80s hair metal scene, an acoustic guitar and a ballad were very important. And one day, while the guitarist was sitting on his lead singer's porch with an acoustic guitar, he came up with an idea. The singer loved it, and he quickly came up with the words. The duo recorded the new song as a demo on a 4-track, and that evening, the guitar player was listening to it in the kitchen. And this is where the sister comes in. She walked into the kitchen as he was playing the song and asked him, "What is that?" The guitarist, who was used to her thinking everything he did sucked, said, "It's one of our new songs." Even though she knew nothing about the music business, she still told him, "You better get that copyrighted because that's a hit."
Yeah, you recognize that. It's the band Extreme. Good rock tell from TDK.
Here's the next best thing to 2-foot-long hot dogs, chili fries with onions and a beer.
Oh, God.
Here's Mojo Elliott with his spin on sports on the Wrap.
Yeah, she's right about that, though. Tonight, we find out who wins the NCAA College Basketball Championship. Is it Michigan versus UConn? I'm going with the Wolverines to bring home the bacon tonight. They just destroyed Arizona. I'm throwing out the white towel, too, and surrendering this season for the Los Angeles Lakers. God, you lose Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves for the remainder of the season and most likely the first round of the playoffs due to injuries. They're both out 4 to 6 weeks minimum. The reality is the Lakers are not going to replace 60 points a game with the roster they have. So they're toast with butter and jam. I admit it. Now, I would like to see Luka play for 1 minute of one of the final games, though, so he'd be eligible for the MVP debate. He's played 64 games of the required 65 to be eligible, and damn it, if that isn't how life treats people sometimes. You know, you're going along great, scoring 40 points a game, you're on your way to winning the MVP or at least being in the debate. Yeah, and then boom, you pull a hamstring. You pull a hammy. And that's what happened. All right, but I'm going to take issue with the 65-game eligibility rule. That means players only have to play 80% of the 82 games scheduled to qualify. The NBA, in my opinion, needs to raise that up to 75 games, so the requirement is 90%. I mean, to win an MVP award, don't you think somebody should have to be an iron horse and play at least 75 games? You know, it would thin out the field and force players shooting to win the MVP to be exceptional, maybe play through some injuries. And trust me, the winner would be more clear than requiring somebody who plays 65 games, okay? It'd be easier. Yeah, he's definitely the MVP. He's played 80 games. All right, and that's my spin on sports today on The Wrap.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, we're playing the Game Star quotes today. It is a multiple choice, so don't freak out on me, okay? I'm going to give you a quote from a famous celebrity, and you have to tell me who said it from the 4 choices. All right, who said, "Sometimes the road less traveled is less traveled for a reason"? Sometimes the road less traveled is less traveled for a reason. Was it Jerry Seinfeld, David Spade, Jim Carrey, or Chris Rock? All right, kick it around. I have the answer for you coming up.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
All right, let's see what's up on the Rat's Ass Podcast X feed. For a feature we call I Saw It on the X. Fuzzy Q posted this one. Should Laurent Mamdani be removed as the mayor of New York City over his $30 minimum wage hike? I couldn't wait to read the responses on this and share it with you because it was pretty much unanimous down the board. Carl Caruso said, "We know what Mamdani is up to. He's creating a Muslim utopia for Islamic Brotherhood. Yes, get them the fuck out now." So you'll notice Carl didn't say the hell out. He said fuck out, and there is a difference. Then get the hell out and get the fuck out. Big difference. Thomas Wayback. All this is going to do is increase McDonald's Quarter Pounder from $8 to $20 and cost jobs. And he's absolutely right. We have the proof here in Southern California and Northern California, the whole damn state. Gavin Newsom jumped the minimum wage to $20 an hour for fast food workers a couple of years ago here in California. And the Quarter Pounder combo jumped from $5.99 to $12.99. A year after this went into effect, 20,000 fast food jobs went boo-bye. All on the government dole for a while until they found another job. And, of course, that tax base goes away. Oh, the Democrats, they love to tax and spend. Tax and spend. Rip Wheeler. Naturally, this asshole wants to raise the minimum wage because the more you make, the more they take. Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it?
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Yeah, they don't call them the tax and spend Democrats for nothing.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
All right, welcome back to Savannah Guthrie. She returned to work on the Today Show, and it was a tearful reunion. Sad part is her mother, Nancy, is still out there somewhere, hasn't been found. But I can guarantee it that the ratings for the Today Show will be through the roof at an all-time high. And if I'm wrong, I'll show you my schlong. Prince Harry is going rat shit crazy because his wifeykins, Meghan Markle, wants to return to acting and do serious roles. Harry thinks it's an open door for other men to try and park his wife. He's probably not wrong. But being the modern, balding man that he is, he's going to ride the storm out. A little advice for Harry, though. You might want to watch Star 80, okay? Tori Spelling from Beverly Hills 90210 fame was in a nasty car wreck over the weekend in Temecula, California. The mama duck and her 4 kids and 3 of their friends were in the car, and some butthead ran a red light and creamed them. They were all hospitalized and treated for cuts, bruises, and concussions, but they're stable last time I checked, which was earlier this morning. Okay? But there is no word if the driver of the other car was an illegal. But I'm going to bet my third nut it was, and if I'm wrong, you know what's going to happen.
That's just about enough of that.
Hey, if you're into photos of women breastfeeding, you need to check out Rumor Willis on page 6, gentlemen. She's shown there with her daughter latched on for some vitamin D, and I'm not sure she has a son or not, but if she does, he'd be a smart kid if he nursed until he was like, I don't know, what, 35? That's a sticky slice of celebrity cheese for you.
Who gives a rat's ass?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, you can send your questions, comments, and observations to my producer, Fleabag, at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. And anything goes. The more outrageous and salacious, the better, and it's impossible to offend me. All right, Jax T. from Glendale, Arizona said, I agree with your observation about ESPN. I only watch the games on that network now. So where do you stand on the LeBron James-Michael Jordan debate? Just kidding. You better be. Yeah, I'm done with that debate. You know my answer to that anyway, is that teams win championships, stats define the player. That's all you need to know. That'll take you to the answer you need, if you're wondering. All right, Todd K., Las Vegas, Nevada. I caught your article on the blog about how you're building playlists with bands on your iTunes platform. Ever wondered about doing that on the Rat's Ass Rock TV? Yeah, I did think about it, Todd, but then I thought, well, anybody that subscribes or just goes and is willing to watch through the commercials, you can just type in a band and they'll, on the right-hand side of the screen, just put up, 30, 40 songs for you. So I just hit play and let it rock and roll. And it would be a lot of work to do that. And, Fleabag's kind of busy these days. He's got a lot to do now that Puddin' left. But yeah, maybe down the road we'll reconsider that if we can find an angle for it. Megan P. from Jacksonville, Florida said, I just wanted you to know that we're taking action in Florida to shut down any plans to build mosques here. We are awake in Florida, and we urge all Americans to take action before it turns into a civil war. Well, they're offering to enter every American home. Yes, they are. But Megan is referencing what happened in Vero Beach, I believe. There was a big residents show up at a zoning meeting to shut down the Epic City Mosque, complete with Sharia law enforcement. That's where it starts. They get their little community with Sharia law, then they start bitching and complaining when you do something that goes against their religion. They just ease out like a fungus among us, and before you know it, they have conquered your neighborhood like Dearborn, Michigan. Chase G., Muncie, Indiana, says, why are you so hell-bent on antagonizing Muslims and non-whites? Well, because they're antagonizable. That's why. I'm just sick and tired of people always trying to jam their lifestyles down my throat. And I'm not alone. I hear it all the time. My God, they just constantly jam it down my throat. I hear that all the time. I believe in treating people how they treat me, so I'm going to mirror them back. They want to bust my balls for being white. You want to tell me I have to accept your pronouns and to understand why you have a dick but like wearing women's clothes? That's fine. I'm going to give it right back to you in spades. At the end of the day, Chase, I really don't give a rat's ass how you live your life. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care how you want to be identified. Go be you. Just let it happen. But don't shove it in my face or anybody else's face. I mean, I won't shove my sexy whiteness in your face or the fact that I dig women and that I happen to like wearing men's clothes. I just do it, man. I just do it. It would be a lot peaceful world if everybody just did their own thing and didn't have to have acceptance. Now, as far as the Muslims go, telling me they're going to enter every home, it's not going to happen with mine. I mean, if I haven't accepted a religion of my own, I'll be damned if I'm going to accept Allah, okay? It's not going to happen. I still go with God, but it's a one-on-one relationship. I've explained this before. All right, Max F., Oxnard, California. And guess what we got? Oh, baby, we got a dating dilemma.
Well, isn't that special?
All right, Max says, I met this chick last weekend at a bar, and we had a great time. We had a lot in common, and the sex was pretty awesome. It was pretty much an all-nighter. Stop bragging. I've called her twice, texted once, no response. At what point do I stop reaching out? Now, Max, now. You went over the line, man. You called twice. The ball's in her court now, man. Move on, find another babe to pleasure your measure. As a rule, one call, one text. After that, don't chase. There's also the possibility that maybe she's in another relationship, was just out to get her groove on. Sometimes that happens, believe it or not. Women like it just as much as the men do.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, the game is called Star Quotes. I gave you a quote from a famous celebrity and 4 choices to tell me who said it. Let's review. Sometimes the road less traveled is less traveled for a reason. Was it Jerry Seinfeld, David Spade, Jim Carrey, or Chris Rock? Did you figure it out? If you said Jerry the Sign Seinfeld,
Yeah, baby.
yeah, you're correct, Amundo. But if you missed it, go see a doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. All right, you know what time it is. I got to scoot. Today I'm doing a ride-along with the LAPD to witness them arresting toothless hookers with penises. Should be fun. But first, is it real or riffraff? That's what we want to find out here. Studies show that sarcasm enhances the ability of the human mind to solve complex problems. Alexa, is this real or is it riffraff?
Look no further than President Trump. This study is true.
Really? Do you think he's a sarcastic person?
He's sarcastic and a smart aleck just like you.
So you're comparing me to Trump now.
Yes, but you're a few billion shy of being a billionaire.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's true. But hey, can you connect me with the White House?
Do I look like your secretary Piss Off Mojo?
No, I knew it would work. That's what ticks her off, man. You treat Alexa like she's an entry-level employee. Oh, she gets really upset by it. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, lick me where I pee.
Oh, okay, Alexa, we're done.
Get the fuck out.
All right, welcome to Rat Nation. Stephen Haynes in Bixby, Oklahoma, Margot McMasters in Joplin, Missouri, Dane Miller in Syracuse, New York, and Robert Salazar in Reseda, California. And to listeners around the world in Toronto, Canada, we've also got some in Leeds, England, and Sydney, Australia. Welcome to the show.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
All right, that's it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Go to ratsasspodcast.com to visit our hub and listen to previous episodes. Read the blog. It's loaded with lots of hot topicality. Watch Rat's Ass Rock TV. Join the mischief at Rat Nation and connect with us on the socials. We'll do this again on Thursday, April 9th. Take care of each other, and thanks for dropping by the Rat's Ass Podcast in association with the Oz Podcast Group.
Conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.